Hi everybody, I hope that everybody had a great spring break and hope that we're ready to get back into some math lessons. Today you're going to have another Alex assignment and I'm going to walk through each of the problems. You can tell there's 5 problems on it. And again, the problems that I have won't be exactly the same problems that you have, but they'll be similar. So you can use this video to help you figure out the problems that you have. Also, you can always remember that up in this corner on your Alex, there's a box where you can get an explanation of your problem. It'll just give you a little example that it will let you go back to your problem and try to solve it. So that's always a good place to look. And then you can always check your answer down in the little box down in the left-hand corner on the bottom, and then you can move on to your next problem. So these are all finding composite figures. Composite figures is when you put more than one shape together and you have to find the area. But remember, the area is the length times the width. And so we need to remember that. But in composite figures, we're taking more than one figure and finding out the area for them. So in this figure, we can see that we basically have 2. You can imagine kind of there's a line across there that would make that this bottom square a separate shape than the top square. So on this, you're going to take the first one, which is, so you can tell that this one's length would be 6, width it would be 2. So I can take the 6 times the 2, and then we know that the area inside of this larger box will be 12 square yards. And then on this bottom one, I can tell that one of the sides is 3 and one is 1. So we would just basically take 3 times 1. So the area in this one would be 3. So now I can take those 2 areas, 12 and 3, and just add them together, which is going to give me my final answer, which would be 15 yards square, or I could say 15 square yards. And that is how we would do number 1. Number 2 is this shape up here, and it says, Mai's her name. Mai's backyard has a patio and a garden. Find the area of the garden. So, sides meet at right angles. So it's wanting us to find the area of the garden. But in order to do that, we need to figure out basically what both of the areas are and then subtract the patio out of it. So again, remember that the area is the length times the width. So let's find out what the area of the whole bigger box would be. And by whole bigger box, I mean like this outside, that whole thing. I know that's not perfect, but we want to find out the outside of the whole thing. And so we know that across this side, the one length is 6, and like right here, and across this one it's 6. So we can find that first area for the whole big box as 6 times 6, which would be 36. So we know that big part is 36. Now we want to take this patio shape and find out what it is. And we can tell that this part from here to here is 4, and this part from here to here is 4. So I have 4 and 4. So that one's 4 times 4, which is 16. So now I have these 2 areas. The first one is the whole box together, and the second is the patio. So what I want to do to find out what the garden is I'm going to take the 36 and I'm going to subtract the 16 from it, which gives me 20. And it's dealing with yards, so it could be 20 yards squared, or I could also say 20 square yards. And that is how we would do number 2. Number 3. Let's look at number 3 really quick, and I know you can probably see number 4 down there, but let's just focus on 3 for a minute on this one. So it says, A rectangular region is removed from another rectangular region to create the shaded region shown below. Find the area of the shaded region. So on this, so the rectangular region is removed from another rectangular region to create the shaded region. So it's basically saying one of these boxes is taken from the other larger box to give me this whole shaded area, which is this whole purplish area. So find the area of the shaded region. So again, we just need to find two areas, and we're going to take the smaller one away from the bigger one. So again, remember, area is length times width. So in this one, the bigger box has a length and a width of 15 times 9. So if we figure out what 15 times 9 is 135. So the whole bigger box, which is like all of this, is 135. Then we want to find this smaller box, which it has the lengths of 4 and 7. So its area, 4 times 7, which is 28. So now I want to take this smaller box away from the bigger box. So I'm going to take the 135 and I'm going to subtract 28, which is 107. And it's meters there, so it would be meters squared. So that is how I would do something like number 3. And number 4. Let's see. Make it so we just see number 4. So number 4 says, find the area of the figure, sides meet at right angles. So that's just saying it wants me to find the area of this whole figure. And we can kind of split it into two figures for right now. So see, we can kind of know that this is one spot, and then the bigger square, like this whole thing, is one shape. And that will help us to figure it out. So first of all, again, always remember the area is the length times the width. So let's figure out, well, the smaller one will be easy to figure out the two side lengths, because I know that this part right here is 4, and this part right here is 2. So I know that the first one's going to be 4 times 2. Like inside of here, it's just going to be 4 times 2, which is 8. So I know that that smaller square is 8 centimeters, the area. Now I need to figure out the bigger one. Well, we know that this side length is 5, so that's easy, but we need to figure out what this whole length is. And nothing really tells me exactly, but I can get some clues. Because I know that this part, which remember that this, whatever this side up here is going to be congruent to the bottom. So it'll be the same. I know that this section of it is 3. Then I know that this part right here, so this section is going to be the same as up here. So it's going to be 4. And then this other part is 3 again. So I just want to add those together. So I want to add the 3 plus the 4 plus the 3. So that is 3 plus 4 is 7 plus 3 is 10. So that would mean that whole part is 10. So that would mean that this whole part is 10. So now I have my two lengths because I have 5 centimeters and 10 centimeters. So area equals 5 times 10, which is 50. So now what I want to do is add those two together because it wants the total length. So I'm going to take the 50 plus the 8. So my total length is, sorry, I just messed that up, is 58. And it's centimeters, so centimeters squared. So that is how I would do number 4. And let's move on to the last one, number 5. Number 5 says a rectangle is removed from a right triangle to create the shaded region shown below. Find the area of the shaded region. Be sure to include the correct unit in your answers. So again, it's wanting us to find the area of the shaded region. And it says that this part right here would be like removed from it. But first of all, what we need to do is find the overall area of the triangle. So we want to find this, and then we'll take that part out. So remember, the area of a triangle is the base times the height divided by 2. So let's see if we can figure these out. We know that this section right here is 5, but we need to figure out this part. But we know that it would be the same as what's right up above it, so that would be 2. So the whole base would be whatever 2 plus 5 is, which is 7. So I'm just going to put here, I know my base equals 7. Okay, let's figure out really quick what the height is. So the height is over on this side, and I know that this section of the height is 3, and then I know that this other part right here is going to be the same as this side, so it will be 4. So my height's going to be whatever 3 plus 4 is, which is also 7. So my height is 7. So if I find that area, it would be 7 times 7 divided by 2. Well, 7 times 7 is 49. And 49 divided by 2 is 24.5. So the area of the whole triangle is 24.5. But I need to take out this square part. So we need to figure out that part. And we know this one gives us a little bit easier numbers to deal with, because I know that it's, and to find the area of a square, it's just area equals the length times the width. So we have 2 times 4, which is 8. So I have that. So I want to take that away from the area of the whole triangle. So I'm going to take the 24.5 that was right there and subtract 8 from it. And that equals 16.5. And my units are centimeters squared. So that is how I would do number 5. Remember, again, if you ever need some help, you can look at the example up here. That will help you out with showing you something that's a lot like yours. It will never show you the answer right to the same problem you have, but it will help you out. You can also check it down here. It will let you check it 3 times before it would give you a new problem to try out again. So you could check it. If you got it wrong, it will give you the same one back, and it will do that 3 times, and then it will give you a new problem to try out. And also, if you submitted the assignment and you go back to work on it, then it will also give you a new problem. But again, remember to keep redoing these assignments until you can get all of the problems right. If you get really stuck on any problem, then take a picture of it or a screenshot of it and email it to me, and then I can help you with that. Anyway, good luck and happy Monday.